Hi, I'm Corporal David Anarino. Join Petty Officer Chris Avant and me on Navy Marine Corps News. This week, USS Harry S. Truman hosts the second round of carrier qualifications for the new FA-18EF Superhornet. We'll show you the job of Master-at-Arms and how these military police stay sharp to keep our bases and communities secure. Also, Navy and Marine Corps air crewmen take the plunge at the Aviation Survival Training Center. Join us for these stories and more on Navy Marine Corps News.
This week on Navy Marine Corps News, USS Harry S. Truman hosts the second round of carrier qualifications for the new FA-18 Superhornet. We'll show you the job of Master-at-Arms and how these military policemen stay sharp to keep our bases and communities secure. And Navy and Marine Corps air crewmen take the plunge at the Aviation Survival Training Center. These stories and more next on Navy Marine Corps News.
Hi, welcome to Navy Marine Corps News. I'm Petty Officer Chris Avant.
And I'm Corporal David Anarino. Topping our show this week, the FA-18EF Superhornet.
The Navy's newest strike fighter is undergoing another series of tests to become fully aircraft carrier qualified.
USS Harry S. Truman recently hosted round 2 of sea trials for the Navy's newest fighter plane, the FA-18EF Superhornet. Pilots say this new plane is highly suited to the challenges of operating underway.
The Super Hornet is a superb airplane around the aircraft carrier. It flies a slower approach speed, which is always better because it allows the pilot to make more corrections as he's flying his approach, much safer.
The testing aboard Truman put the plane through its paces with catapult launches, arrests, and touch and goes. There was also testing to determine how the plane performs in a variety of wind conditions.
The Super Hornet will undergo further testing later this summer on board a West Coast aircraft carrier to see how the newer FA-18 performs in operational conditions.
But on an East Coast carrier, sailors received a visit from the NFL Jacksonville Jaguars.
Kevin Kennedy of WTLV Channel 12 in Jacksonville, Florida, went aboard USS John F. Kennedy to bring us this week's Focus on the Fleet.
This is amazing. I had no idea it was like this. Can't really describe how powerful it is. It's unbelievable how fast these aircraft get out of here.
Navy planes ready for takeoff. Fighter pilots in training blast into action.
I admire these guys a lot for being able to do what they do. I thought playing football was, hard, but it's nothing compared to what these guys are having to go through.
You feel the blast on your chest, and you can reach out when the planes are going by and actually almost touch the wing. That's how close they are.
Right there, that's the F-14 right there.
These players are used to having all eyes on them, but today, their eyes were the ones lighting up.
See these planes, something I only see in the movies, actually in person, I never knew they hit that fast.
I've never experienced anything like this. I'm glad we have guys like this out here protecting us, but I sure wouldn't want to do it. I'd rather run into somebody anything. Until you go out there and stand by one of those things taking off and hear the roar and feel it just beating against your heart, you don't understand it.
The men and women on board the USS John F. Kennedy feel the rush every day. So for them, meeting their heroes was much more exciting.
I work out here in this hangar bay, and I'm really on the job right now, so this is nice to come out here.
It's just a nice experience because it's not something you get every day. It's usually really hard to find them to get the chance to get an autograph and to meet them.
You got a warm welcome here, and it's just exciting to be here, with all these people, and I have a great deal of respect for what they do.
Kevin Kennedy, 12 News.
I think it's great to hear the Jaguars say just how much they appreciate the job of the sailors aboard the Kennedy.
And with good reason. Our sailors are the best in the world. Our thanks again to Kevin Kennedy and WTLV Channel 12 News for that story.
The countdown to the year 2000 continues. We're only 9 months away from the Y2K Challenge, and once again, the Navy Marine Corps team has proved that it will be ready. The Constellation Battle Group conducted the Countdown to the Year 2000 test earlier this month. 14 Pacific Fleet ships, a Coast Guard ship, and a Canadian ship all participated in Y2K testing off the coast of Southern California. While the ships were underway, clocks on all 16 ships were rolled forward and more than 250 battle group systems were tested.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, work, man. Yeah.
With only minor discrepancies, the validation process could be called an overwhelming success. The tests, which ended March 5th, were also designed to make sure the multi-ship and multinational groups forming the core of a naval deployment can work together as a team without interference from Y2K-related problems. PAC fleet ships have conducted numerous tests since 1996, but this is the first time tests have included an entire battle group. USS Stennis, Kitty Hawk, Kennedy, and Eisenhower battle groups will all conduct the same type of test later this year.
In another Y2K update, the Navy's test ranges at the Naval Air Warfare Center Weapons Division are also fully Y2K compliant.
The recent multi-range tests involving sea, land, and electronic combat ranges were all very successful.
Engineers also tested leap year scenarios, which to the Navy is a more critical test of Y2K compliance, and those were also a success.
That's good news with Y2K less than 10 months away.
You bet. Now don't go away, because coming up after the break, we'll show you the job of military police and how they keep our bases and communities secure.
Don't touch that remote.
Hi, my name is Seward Edward Johnson from Kansas City, Missouri, aboard the USS Inchon, and you're watching Navy Marine Corps News.
You're born, you go to school, and then one day, things begin to get interesting. Where there was once only a wall, there appears a door. You take a deep breath and walk through to the other side. Things are very different here. Now, instead of preparing, you're doing. Instead of waiting, you're moving. The stakes are a lot higher than they were in high school, because out here, the tests you're given are of your honor, your courage, and your commitment. This is your journey. It's time you got underway. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps News.
Got a question for you, Corporal. Who do criminals always try to avoid the most on military bases?
Their mothers?
No, nice try. The answer is the military police.
Okay, so it was a bad guess. But seriously, MPs are always patrolling our bases and naval ports, and if they don't get the bad guys, their military dogs will.
Petty Officer Laura Castro has the story on these highly motivated sailors and Marines who are the first line of defense for the security of our Navy and Marine Corps bases.
They go by different names. Some places they're master-at-arms, others security. But no matter what you call them, military police are vital on any base. And thanks to the specialized training they get, these sailors and Marines are ready to answer the call no matter what the situation.
I like helping people. I like the fact that this job is exciting. I like the fact that you can go from 0 to 60 in a split second.
Most police officers patrol alone, but some have special partners. Military working dogs are an important addition to the security force. These dogs are trained in 2 areas, sniffing out explosives and helping to fight terrorism. MPs also participate in programs like Darren McGruff. These programs give kids the tools to resist drugs and violence.
It's not something one person can do. It's not the school system. It's not the police department. It's a group effort that to get involved in your children's lives. It's teamwork.
And in Navy ports, the sailors of the Master-at-Arms Force do more than patrol the streets.
Well, for any threats in the water, we're the first line of defense for anybody coming into the waters of Pearl Harbor.
MPs have a 24-hour-a-day job that takes them to every corner of a military base. By investigating crimes and stopping them before they happen, these sailors and Marines keep their shipmates safe. From Pearl Harbor, I'm Petty Officer Laura Castro, Navy Marine Corps News.
It's nice to know that not only do these sailors and Marines take their jobs seriously, but they train hard to keep their skills sharp.
You're right, and it's good to know that they're always on the job.
Another reliable group of sailors are the ones who make up shipboard bridge teams.
Petty Officer Joe Winton of our Norfolk Detachment went aboard USS Inchon, and he brings us this story.
Navigating a ship that weighs several thousand tons is no small task. It takes pinpoint precision from the sailors who perform this job every day, shipboard bridge teams.
I think I got a very important point. I like it, being part of getting us where we're going and being a part of the bridge team, I feel kind of important. Make control knots, engines ahead, 2/3, indicating 040 RPMs for 8 knots.
As the lee helmsman, Seaman Johnson relays engine orders from the conning officer to the engine room, controlling the speed of the ship. The helmsman steers the ship on the ordered course. Many important jobs are in the hands of junior sailors.
My mom asked me if I was steering the ship, and I said yes. She was surprised. They didn't think I would be doing that.
Coming to new course 295.
This group of sailors is led by the officer of the deck, or OOD, who is responsible for the operation and safety of the ship. The OOD runs the show, taking the information from team members and guiding the ship to where it needs to go.
This is a really great team. These are all made up of deck personnel, so in addition to their normal jobs down the deck plates, they all come up here and stand watch. And they're all brand new in the Navy for the most part, and they have some petty officers supervising, but again, these are people that have just reported on board for the most part. And they're my eyes, ears, and hands.
The lookouts are the eyes of the ship. They report what they see to the bridge, and the quartermaster keeps track of where the ship has been and where it's going.
I plot fixes on the chart to make sure that we are not going to run aground or hit anything that could be out in the water. I feel my job is very important on here. There's really no room for mistakes when you're pulling into port or pulling out of port.
The bridge team, working together to steer their ship and their shipmates on a safe course every day. From aboard USS Inchon, I'm Petty Officer Joe Winton, Navy Marine Corps News.
Wow, they make it look easy, but it takes a lot of teamwork and professionalism to safely navigate Navy ships.
And when that ship has the mission of mine countermeasures, like USS Inchon does, that teamwork is especially important.
Sure is. Great job, Inchon. Elsewhere in the fleet, every day, naval ships conduct training exercises.
And recently, Army Private Mike Ferrara of AFN Vicenza was aboard USS LaSalle during live fire exercises, and he brings us this story.
USS LaSalle gunners mates had a unique chance to hone their weapon skills while on a tour through the Mediterranean Sea.
Right now we're doing live fire and shoot. We're shooting at targets, which are drums with smoke floats on them. Just getting some training and target practice. So we're simulating small boat attack.
This method of training helps improve shooting skills as well as boost the crew's morale.
Today we actually got to fire. We got some live ammo out here. We got to fire at some actual targets, and it was good training today.
This exercise may seem fun, but there is a serious purpose to the training.
The purpose of this exercise is to keep us in a readiness state. Just in case something ever does happen to our ship, we need to be in full readiness state, ready to fire upon anything that comes upon us and that engages us. We need to be ready to attack it and destroy it.
Reporting from the USS LaSalle, Army Private Mike Ferrara, Navy Marine Corps News.
What a unique experience that must have been for a soldier to see how the Navy keeps its gunners sharp.
You bet. We move now from the surface Navy to the undersea Navy.
Being stationed on a submarine can isolate sailors from the rest of the world.
But not from sickness or injury, and that's why all submarine sailors rely on their corpsmen.
And the corpsmen who serve aboard submarines face many different responsibilities, and Petty Officer Joe Winton returns aboard USS Nebraska.
When sailors are underway on board submarines, the nearest doctor and medical facility can be hundreds of miles away. Unfortunately, they can still get sick or injured. That's where the boat's corpsman comes in.
I'm a hospital corpsman, independent duty status on board the USS Nebraska. I'd like to welcome you on board. If you have any medical problems while you're on board, anything, 24/7, I'm open.
You won't usually hear his shipmates call him the corpsman. To them, he's the doc. And even though he's not an MD, these sailors know their health is in his hands.
It's like our life. If something was to happen, take care of it.
On your tongue, hold that for me and watch the numbers fly.
wouldn't think twice about coming to him.
Who you got? Oh, you're normal. My medical responsibilities on board the ship range from being the medical department representative, the senior doc, the only doc, to preventive med technician, lab technician, pharmacy technician. You name a medical hat, we wear it.
This job carries lots of responsibility, including treating the crew as individuals, one at a time.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Providing the very best medical care isn't everything. Every boat dock is also an important member of the crew.
Some sub boats, I was qualified chief of watch. It's not required, but it's one of those things that you do just to, number one, to fit in, and number two is that, you know, it's a job. One crew, you know, one team.
Taking care of his shipmates, being one of the team. An independent duty corpsman has a lot of responsibility and a very fulfilling job.
Life for me is actually fantastic. I'm on a Trident submarine, which is the biggest and the best of our fleet. I wouldn't trade it for the world. This is it.
Aboard USS Nebraska, Petty Officer Joe Winton, Navy Marine Corps News.
That's a one busy corpsman.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of busy, a medical team from the Naval Ambulatory Care Center, Groton Optical Department, and the Optical Support Unit from Newport, Rhode Island also took on a big job.
Due to an intense training schedule on board USS Albany, some sailors weren't able to get eye exams or order glasses before getting underway.
So the medical teams cleared their appointment schedules to see the Albany sailors all in one day.
And in less than 4 days, 48 pair of glasses or contacts were delivered to the sub's crew.
Great example of shipmates helping shipmates. Now stay right there, because after the break, we'll take you to San Diego, where aviation crewmen take the plunge at the Aviation Survival Training Center.
Don't go away.
I'm AO2 Nelson from Seattle, Washington, stationed at BS-41, and you're watching Navy Marine Corps News.
Designated driver activated. Home, James? Don't pull a stupid driving trick. Bond with a designated driver.
Welcome back to Navy Marine Corps News. Air crewmen have a pretty intense job.
They sure do, and it can be a dangerous one, too.
Petty Officer Aaron Blodgett visited the Aviation Survival Training Center in San Diego to get a first-hand look at how air crewmen learn to stay alive in the event of an emergency.
These Navy and Marine Corps air crewmen are preparing for the worst, the day their mission turns into a nightmare. But thanks to instructors at the Aviation Survival Training Center, they know exactly what to do.
The main thing that we're trying to accomplish here is to save people's lives following an emergency or an accident.
Air crewmen attend this training at least every 4 years. They are instructed in water survival techniques and in aviation physiology.
Aviation physiology is effects of altitude on the body, such as hypoxia, hyperventilation.
Hypoxia occurs when the brain isn't getting enough oxygen. This serious condition can lead to unconsciousness and lost control of the aircraft.
The altitude chamber actually lets air crew members feel the signs and symptoms of hypoxia in a safe environment. What they'll be doing, just a basic patty cake, asking them to switch from 1 to 2 pats. They get confused.
If you can't breathe and you can't concentrate on an important thing, then there's no way you're going to be able to carry out your mission.
In addition, air crewmen learn proper body positioning for aircraft ejections, parachute landings, and get familiarized with their life support equipment. Survival first aid is also part of the life-saving training here at ASTC.
Survival first aid isn't kind of like the first aid that you do here at home. You don't have access to 911. All you have is what you brought with you and what you might find in the area.
Next is water survival training, where air crewmen practice survival swim strokes, escape from underwater simulators, learn parachute release techniques, and are rescued by a helicopter hoist simulator. All done while wearing 40 pounds of soaking wet flight gear.
In case they have a mishap, whether they're going ship to ship, ship to shore, or on a mission, they've got the skills necessary to stay alive at least long enough to effect a rescue.
As an end to the strenuous training, air crewmen are then placed blindfolded into a training device that drops into the water and flips upside down. Training objective: to get out alive. Air crewmen leave this training center with the confidence of knowing they can save themselves and possibly others following an aircraft emergency. But what is the most important lesson learned here?
To stay calm and follow the procedures that are set. These procedures are written in blood, meaning that people have died in the past to get these procedures in place. That's how we learn.
Petty Officer Aaron Blodgett, Navy Marine Corps News.
That looks like fun. I always wanted to jump out of a plane.
Not me. I think I'll just stay safely on the ground and hang out downtown at the Cyber Cafe.
You know, a new MWR-sponsored Cyber Cafe is open to serve sailors and Marines on Okinawa, Japan.
And as Army Sergeant Tim Greenwood tells us, it's something that has already become very popular.
Information and communication makes the world go round. But if you're stationed on a remote island, the rest of the world can feel out of reach. That's why Marine MWR just opened 2 internet cafes on Okinawa at Camps Hansen and Schwab. Their state-of-the-art connections are 6 times faster than anything on the market today.
I think it'll be a lot easier on us since we're up here in the middle of nowhere, as we say. It's going to be a lot better, and as far as morale, it's going to help boost it a lot.
Especially for deployed Marines who do not have computer access of any kind. But it's a quality of life improvement for all Marines because workplace computers have restrictions. That means the cafe user can surf, shop, or follow their favorite sports team.
The whole idea is to bring a little bit of America over to Okinawa where these Marines are serving.
Internet cafes have been around for a few years, but these are the first in the Marine Corps. And with no history to be judged by, they'll measure success one smile at a time. Army Sergeant Tim Greenwood, Navy Marine Corps News, Okinawa, Japan.
That's great to see that Marines have a place where they can relax and surf the information superhighway.
And recently, while Marines were reading information off the internet, sailors on board USS Saipan were reading books to over 600 children.
Petty Officer Kathy Thomas has the story.
As part of a nationwide celebration of Dr. Seuss's birthday, USS Saipan was recommissioned USS Readership for a day of fun, laughter, and education. The Saipan, or should I say Readership, hosted 600 children who spent time reading with the ship's sailors.
Did you have any fun?
And they have just been absolutely so excited to come here, and I hope they bring away an enthusiasm for reading. That's what we're really hoping for.
The day started with a mock commissioning ceremony, and then the children were broken into groups and read to by the sailors. The book was, of course, Cat in the Hat.
It's a chance to read to them and give them an opportunity to see us adult people and what we do in our job, that we do get to take time out to read to children. It's fun. It's the best thing that I've done all month.
The birthday party was all part of Read Across America's effort to promote literacy in children. It provides academic motivation by making the reading fun. When the Cat in the Hat is involved, the fun is contagious.
This day is wonderful. I get to be on a ship to see how to raid the Cat in the Hat and to be able to see the ship be Christian.
What started out as a birthday celebration quickly became a... Aboard USS Readership, I'm Petty Officer Kathy Thomas, Navy Marine Corps News.
I'm sure the parents of those children are pretty thankful to the crew of Saipan.
And hey, I know kids and how excited they can get. I'm sure they had the sailors running all over the place.
And it's a good thing they're in good shape. And to help us all stay in shape, it's time once again for SHIPSHAPE.
This week, our fitness team is back to show us how to properly stretch our legs to improve flexibility.
Welcome to SHIPSHAPE. We're here today at NAB Coronado in San Diego, California. Hi, I'm Clark Bartram, former Marine and internationally ranked amateur natural bodybuilder.
And I'm HM2 Jeff Bramstead, U.S. Navy SEAL. Today we're going to show you a few stretches that will increase the flexibility of your hamstrings, which can cause lower back pain if they're tight. We have 2 people helping us out today. We have PN2 Nelson Elias, and we have Corporal Brian Colesworthy of the Marine Corps.
Hoorah, hoorah.
All right.
Now, before you do any stretching, it's important to warm up your muscles. Don't stretch a cold muscle. Do some jumping jacks or a short jog first. Are you guys ready to start?
Ready.
Okay, let's go ahead and get down on the ground with your legs straight out in front of you. Okay? We'll start by stretching the outer hamstrings. To do that, you want to rotate your feet inward so they overlap. Okay, and bend over from the waist and reach to your toes. Now you want to feel a stretch, but not pain.
Right. You don't want to overdo it. Know your body's limits. Hey, Clark, tell them about reciprocal inhibition.
Don't go getting all scientific on me, but actually this is a great tip to stretch further. What that big word means is to contract the opposite muscle of the one you're stretching. So for this stretch, you contract these muscles right here. Now if Jeff does this, he can stretch even further.
I think now I can pass that sit reach.
Be about time. Okay, now we're going to stretch the inner hamstrings. Okay, so spread your feet about 3 feet apart and rotate your feet outward for this one. Okay, now keep your chest high and bending over from the waist. This is going to make sure that you're stretching your hamstring and not your lower back.
Remember, this shouldn't be painful, but this can really increase your flexibility and sports performance.
All right, well that's it for today. And remember to have a balanced fitness program of cardiovascular exercise, weight training, and a flexibility program.
And we'll see you next time on SHIPSHAPE.
Properly stretching before and after working out is very important.
It sure is, and as I'm sure our SHIPSHAPE crew would agree, it can prevent cramps and injuries. Well, that's the show for this week. As always, we'd like to hear your thoughts and ideas about Navy Marine Corps news. So call our feedback line or send us an email.
The number and address, as well as the email address, are coming up at the end of the show.
And hey, before we go, BZ to Naval Hospital, Pensacola.
The Naval Hospital received its second consecutive Chief of Naval Education and Training Golden Anchor Award for retention in the large command category.
And you know, speaking of Pensacola, another BZ goes out to ET-1 Michael Paderi, MS-1 Michael Colvin, RM-2 Scott Krob, IC-2 George Fisher,
SK-2 John Ayers, EM-2 Sean Terrell, SM-3 Larry Spencer, and MM-3 Jimmy Junius.
Those 8 sailors aboard that dock landing ship recently became surface warfare qualified while underway in the Mediterranean Sea. Great job.
We'd also like to say hello and welcome to our new viewers in Mission Viejo, California, who begin watching our show on their city's public access channel this week.
We leave you this week with an exciting look at naval aviation. So, until next week,
see ya.